Alright guys, how's it going? I've got 5625 here, and I'm trying to solve an engine lumpiness that I've had for quite a while. I've been trying to chase this thing forever. It doesn't seem like I'm able to get to the source of the problem, so just kind of wanted to discuss a couple of things that I've done so far. So I have swapped out the coil, the cap and rotor, all the spark plugs, spark plug wires, making sure that all the gaps are correct, all that kind of good stuff. I have obviously got a dwell meter. You can see where my ground is at right there. You can also see, I don't know if you can down here, but I'm on the correct pin for the dwell reading. Also right now, one of the only things that I haven't swapped is the vacuum solenoid and the vacuum advance on the distributor itself. So as you can see, I've just got a T connector going from the vacuum solenoid to the line that's going into the vacuum advance solenoid on the distributor, and I've got that hooked up to this vacuum gauge. Also, before I start the car here, I just wanted to point out that the micro switch here is in fact resting on the micro switch, so at idle it should be, and I'll just go ahead and blip the throttle here real quick just so you guys can see that, and back down again, and back down again. Alright, so that's definitely working. There isn't an issue there. I've got my other idle switch here, or this, I guess it'd be the high idle switch, that I can press in, and I'll show you the difference there on the dwell meter when I get things started up. Over on the frequency valve, I have not replaced the frequency valve, but I did replace the wiring going into it. Initially, the wiring was faulty. I ended up having to get a new plug and solder on new wires and everything, and now that's solid. Everything's fine. What I do notice now is I've never been a person to be able to hear the frequency valve run, but I can feel the vibration in the fuel line when it's running, and it's one of those things where I was told that it's supposed to be kind of going on and off, and to be honest with you, it always just kind of feels like it's on due to the vibration in this line. So I'm not really sure what it feels like when it's off. I mean, minus pulling the plug, I suppose. Got my infrared thermometer right there, because I know that some people have said point this thing at certain cylinders to see if one appears to be hotter than the other. I'm not really sure where to point it. I mean, am I to point it where the valves are at, or over the fuel injector? I'm not really sure, so maybe if you guys can point me along in the direction of that, that'd be good. Other than that, I do have a timing light. It's all set up. I did notice this morning when I was trying to figure this out, I had checked my timing and it appeared as though I was at 12 degrees at idle, so I went ahead and loosened up the distributor, moved it a little bit so that I am pretty much on 13, and we'll prove that as well. But so I just kind of want to start it up for you guys, see what you think. At this point, the engine is warm. Usually when it is not warm, as soon as I start the engine, I'll get idle hunt for probably a good 30 seconds to a minute before it settles back down to a fairly even idle. It always seems to rest at about 775, but it doesn't, or the engine itself is just lumpy. There's a vibration to it, and no matter what, I can't figure out exactly what's going on. I even thought it was the fuel injectors. I sent my old fuel injectors off to be cleaned, reinstalled them. That didn't fix the problem. So I went out and I bought brand new ones from DMC and tested those, and those were spraying evenly, and installed those. But that didn't seem to solve the issue either. So let's go ahead and start this thing up. Like I said, hopefully there's not going to be a whole heck of a lot of hunt, just because the engine is warm, and so it should just kind of start right up. Alright, so pretty quickly there, it goes right back down to my 775. It didn't do any of the idle hunt right away. you can tell, but there's a little bit of a vibration that I can even feel in the driver's seat. You guys can probably tell by the jumpiness of the camera, and that's primarily what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to get rid of that for good. So let's go ahead and go back to the back, and I'll show you what's going on there. I'll try to speak louder so that you guys can hear me over the engine. Well, let's see what the dwell's doing. So the dwell right away, pretty close to 21, 22. Doesn't seem to be sleeping. It will start sleeping once the engine completely warms up. And usually it'll sleep anywhere between 17 and 22 or so. I'll be quiet here for a second so that you guys can hear this little rattle that I've got. And to be honest with you, I can't tell exactly where it's coming from. So let's see if you can hear it. Just so you guys know, I've got a new alternator, I've got new pulley bearings, if you can see them. I was trying to get all of that out of the way. It almost, if I didn't know any better, sounds like I've got a valve issue, maybe it needs a valve adjustment. You can tell exactly what the engine's doing by the shake of the spark plug wire there. Other than that, you can see a whole bunch of different things. As far as the vibration is concerned, if you look at the louvers, they're definitely moving, and that's what I'm trying to get out of the car. So, going back down to the throttle, you'll see the micro switch when I hit it. Go back down to idle, everything's fine. You'll notice on the vacuum switch, basically goes up to 20, and I let off and goes back down. So it appears that all of that is working perfectly fine. Right now, I couldn't tell you why it's not hunting, because typically it does. It hunts all the time, especially when it gets nice and warm. It will actually start hunting, like I said, all over the place. So, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll shoot this down here. There you go. So anyway, as you see, it's kind of hard to see, but I am pretty much right on 13 degrees at idle. And yeah, so I'm trying to figure this out a little bit. So I'm going to see if I can increase the RPMs here for a little while, because I want to see, or at least show you guys what the dwell is doing. The exhaust smells a little strong, not horrible. But at idle here, it just smells a little strong. Alright. And then, it was moving there for a second, but then decided not to anymore, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. Maybe it's just for the camera, but typically it is sleeping quite a bit. So really what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to get this dialed in a little bit more. You can see if I pull this, the engine will run crappy. If I start giving it that vacuum leak, plug it with my fingers, it'll go back up again. indicative of the sweep I get when I'm in idle when the engine is warm. It is quite a bit more pronounced when the engine is cold and I go to start it, almost embarrassingly so, especially at car shows. But like I said, 30 seconds to a minute later it will kind of calm down and go back to idling what it should be. And even with this sweep, you can look inside, and I mean, it's pretty much where it needs to be. So, now that I've made a very long video, I'm just trying to figure out, is this normal PRV, or is there a way to get this thing smoothed out even more? Please let me know what your comments are.